Okay.
Don't worry, we'll try. Okay.
Sure.
So, like in today's session, we will see the introduction to Cypress.
Okay.
Okay. Basic, like and architecture of Cypress and Cypress versus Selenium. Why we are using Selenium, not why we are using Cypress, not Selenium.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, Cypress is purely JavaScript-based front-end testing tool, and this
Uh-huh.
tool built for the modern web. Like we see in Selenium is used Java,
Hmm.
Python, Ruby,
Python.
C Sharp, correct?
Ruby.
But if you
Yes.
see
Yes.
in Cypress, Cypress only support like JavaScript based, like JavaScript and TypeScript, you can say. And
Okay.
second thing is like Cypress is very fast, easy and reliable testing for anything that runs in the browser. So when you read any documentation Cypress from the official Cypress documentations, we will get to know that Cypress is very fast, and whatever be the application you are running on the browser, it can be tested by Cypress testing tool.
Okay.
Okay, and the third thing, like there is no need to have depth knowledge of JavaScript. If a person having only little bit knowledge of JavaScript, he can use Cypress very well. So
Okay.
it means they have the basic understanding of JavaScript enough to write a test script in Cypress.
So you will cover the JavaScript concepts also, right?
Whatever the concept that we are using in Cypress, it will cover.
Okay.
But as I mentioned, like there is no need to have fully
Hmm.
knowledge of this JavaScript. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So anything else you
So
want
how
to
much
ask?
you require JavaScript, that much will be covered here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Got
not in depth, but whatever we it require, we cover it. Okay. So in our
it. Okay.
lecture, first we cover Cypress, then we go for JavaScript. But as of now, we are doing only Cypress only. Okay.
Okay.
Got my point?
Got it.
So basically, see the question arises here: if you have Selenium and Protector, other testing tools, so why we are using Cypress only? Okay.
Hmm.
The basic thing, like it's very fast, easy, and reliable testing for any that runs in the browser. It's very fast. If you compare Selenium with Cypress, you will notice that Cypress is very fast.
Hmm.
And the reason is why it fast. No, I'll let you know when I explain the architecture. Okay. So
Okay.
see the architecture of Cypress here. So like Node.js is a kind of environment which are used for JavaScript based application. Whatever you're using, like any scripting under JavaScript, we use Node.js for that purpose. And also Cypress is purely JavaScript based tool, so we use Node.js for that. So like in this case, like we have Cypress like browser, we are running it. So when you see the architecture of Selenium, you will find WebDriver here in between tool and browser for the communication purposes. Okay,
Yes.
but in Cypress there is no tool here. Only we are using WebSocket here. WebSocket means what is a duplex, fully one-to-one response, like double response we can say. Once the response started, it never closed until unless you close it by your own. Okay. So like in Selenium, we are using WebDriver for Chrome, for Firefox. Okay. But in Cypress, there is no WebDriver here. That's the reason it's very fast. In
Okay.
Selenium, what happened? Like this, Selenium jar file is communicating with WebDriver, and WebDriver is communicating with the browser. But in this
Hmm.
case, there is no browser, there is no WebDriver here. The Cypress is to directly communicate with the browser here. That's the reason it's very fast. Got my point?
Got it.
Yeah. See, here we'll see the Cypress over Selenium.
Hmm.
Okay. So, like, what the positivities we can find here? So, like in Cypress, it takes screenshot automatically on failure. Like, suppose if our script get failed, okay, so it take
Hmm.
screenshot automatically, and it shows us like where the we get failed, the script get failed. Okay. Second, with Cypress, there is no need to put explicit weights or slips to your test. In Selenium, we are using explicit, implicit, fluent weights. But in Cypress, there is no need to use this kind of weights. We'll use, no doubt, we'll use explicit and implicit assertion we can use, but not wait.
Okay.
Okay. And what are the assertions and all we'll see later on. And third one, it can take snapshots of the application when the tests are running. Okay, this is the possibilities of Cypress over Selenium. And what are the negatives? Like, it is relatively new and does not have that vast community that Selenium does. Like Selenium is very old compared to Cypress, correct? So we can get a community of people know very well Selenium, but in case of Cypress, very few people know about the Cypress, how it works and all, correct? So there's a
Hmm.
reason the community is not vast.
Okay.
And also, like, there is no support for multiple browser tabs. Like in Selenium, we have multiple browser testing we can do, but in this case, there is no support for multiple browser tabs. And third one, Cypress only support JavaScript for creating test cases.
Hmm.
Okay, like we cannot use here Java, C Sharp, .NET. We only use JavaScript only in Cypress. Got it, Magesh?
Yeah, got it.
So you got the basic idea, like what is Cypress, the architecture, why Cypress, and what, if you comparing the Selenium with Cypress, what do you get here? Correct.
Hmm.
So in your machine, do you have Node.js installed,
Yes, I installed Node.js.
and do you have VS Code,
Yes, I have.
and also you have set the environment path.
Yes, I said that.
Okay, and do you have Cypress installed?
Yes, installed.
So all means your setup is already
Yeah,
okay.
setup is done. Everything is done.
Setup is done, correct? Okay.
Yes, yes.
So, like, shall we start our new, like, what you have done, like, up till now? After setup on
Uh,
new,
After setup, I use some few components like selectors, so
okay.
class, hash, this ID.
Okay, so
So
you know
some
how
more
to find
things
out selector, you know how
like
to find out the selector class, ID, XPath, you know very well?
selector up to selector fine. The XPath is not up to a few things like few things I did from the YouTube videos and all.
Okay, okay,
So
okay. So
not
I,
have much more clarity about that, but
okay, okay. So
blindly
I'll,
I do.
okay, don't worry, I'll help you out. Okay. So what
Okay.
I'll do, I'll stop my sharing my screen. You share your screen, and just I want to know that your knowledge about this cyber. Okay. You
Okay.
just yeah, and just I want that you just open the Flipkart website using Cypress tool. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll stop sharing this one.
Okay. Can you see now?
1 second. I'll just yeah, I can see.
Actually, I closed everything. Need to open now.
Okay. Hmm. Right, right.
Yeah, these things.
Okay. Okay. You are using Rawal Shetty.
Ah,
Okay. Okay. So do one thing like just stop that one and create one file.
okay.
Okay, start typing.
Okay. Like you want to hit any URL, right?
Okay. Can you do or can I do?
Ah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you my story. Okay.
Ah, can I stop sharing?
Yeah, yeah, stop. Okay, so can you see my screen here?
Yes.
Okay, so let me start here. Your name is Bagesh, na?
Yes. I'm having little confusion with the fixtures, integration, these things.
Uh, Bagesh, this one, like structure of our Cypress, when you install Cypress
Uh,
now, so by
uh,
default you get fixtures, integration, and support and Node.js. This folder is there. You get so fixture is used for to store data. Like if you have any sensitive data like your username and password, okay. And if you don't
okay.
want to share to public that one, so you can keep that in fixture. Okay,
Okay.
like suppose
Okay.
if you keep your data here, so it automatically passes from here only and the picture. Under integration folder, like in a previous like version before 10 or something, like we have integration folder, but now we have E2E folder. So under E2E folder, we can store our files. Okay, so my version is
Mm,
also latest version, but I changed to E2E to integration only.
mm.
But currently, you will
Oh,
get when you run that install new latest one, you will get E2E folder there. So whatever the file you are running now in Cypress, you have to define or creating under this folder only.
yeah.
Okay, and we have like screenshot. It gets when displays when we get failure in the scripting, and support file also getting by default. It contains command and E2E. So in this E2E we just keep the whatever the suppose I want XPath. So XPath by default is not there in Cypress, so we have to export from from outside. So we just put here require for plugin purpose.
Okay.
And for this Cypress for config file, we just giving the path where our files are located. Like my file is located on the Cypress ignition under this star means we can this contains all files, not particular one file.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have done this thing, correct?
Yeah, these things I done from that video.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Okay. So now, like suppose see, if I'm writing here, if I'm using some motion framework like describe. Okay, so before that, what I have to do? Like now, see, in my file, if I say describe here, so
Mm.
this is getting me described. Even though I didn't mention any references here,
Okay.
but in some cases, what happened without mentioning the references, you will not get these files. Okay, so what I do by default, I'll mention references here like this references, references, types, or you can say like this, types is equal to Cypress.
Okay. So if we give that reference, then only we will get that suggestions, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Okay.
What happened
The,
here is
mm.
not change. Reference types equal to Cypress. Spring also no change. Once again, let me check from this iterator which I have done, not file specific. Different types.
Okay.
Let me check the spelling of what is spelling I have mentioned correct or not. I have written correct, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, might be it's a file. We'll work on it later on. Or we'll do one thing. I'll just put a single quote. Maybe sometime it happen.
It is in the comment, right? That's
Yeah,
slash
yeah,
slash.
yeah, yeah. Come on, see here.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, so in first case, suppose if I want to open Flipkart website, okay. So I use the Mocha framework to describe it. Okay, describe.
Okay.
This is why we are using describe. Describe is a collection of test case you can say. Under this describe, we
Mm.
can use first test case using it. Okay, so
Mm.
like I can say describe is like to open Flipkart website. Okay. Now in the after this we have to define callback function here. This is callback function. Okay, remember one thing. This is a
Callback.
bad callback function. Like if I want to define,
Ah.
I can write down like this also. See, in two ways
Mm.
we can write this one.
Okay.
Second one is like that. It is a function like this.
Okay. Instead of function, we use that
Exactly,
symbols.
exactly. Correct, correct.
Mm. Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
Now inside this callback function, I'm defining an it. Okay, to verify the Flipkart website. Okay. Again, I have to use this callback function here. This
Okay.
is bad arrow. Okay. So remember one thing. Whenever you want to open any website, na, so we use
Mm.
CY. CY
Mm.
is by default CY for Cypress.
Yes.
Visit to open the website. Just
Okay.
give the command www.flipkart.com.
Flipkart.com.
Okay. To check whether this site is get opened or not. Okay. So
Hmm.
go to terminal and just type here npx Cypress open. So test them will get open.
Okay. This is the command to run the Cypress, right?
Yeah, yeah. To
npx
run the Cypress means
open.
it's a command to open the test runner.
Hmm.
Like so once we get the test runner, then we can click that particular file name Magesh test 01.
Cypress test runner will open with this
Yeah,
command.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Got it. Uh, so that I can able to connect now, like the previous video.
Okay, I'm recording
Got
now,
it.
so
Got
that
it.
is the reason it's getting time. Huh? Just wait for some minutes.
Hmm. Okay.
As I just stop recording here.